Hello, hello, hello. Today is October 7th, 2022. Every 2 weeks we talk with Norm Winski. He tells us the dates that are coming up, and after the wild action we've had, I'm interested to hear what he has to say. So, Norm, it's all yours.
Thank you very much, Jeff. I thought at first I would review what I said when I was on your show last time. We had a new moon in the sign of Libra. Anytime we have a new moon, full moon, we round up the usual suspects: financials, grains, precious metals, and because it was in the sign of Libra, we pay special attention to sugar, and wheat gets a double whammy there because wheat is a grain, and it's also associated with Libra. Then we had 2 points to the U.S. chart. The U.S. chart is based on when the country was, where the planets were when the country was founded on the 4th of July, 1776, and we look at where the planets are now to those points. And we had a couple of those. One the night of the 26th, that was Monday night, and then a couple nights later, the night of the 29th. And anytime, what we're looking for here is when the market's moving up or down into these windows, and then most of these, well, all the ones that we'll be talking about today, are after the close, and that means we look for a trade the next morning, because the energy gets resolved then. And then the over the weekend of the 30th, we had a double Mercury cycle. We had Mercury turning direct and Mercury at 0 north latitude. If you'd like any help with these technical terms, give me a call. I'll give you a free class. Explain it all in simple terms. Nothing I'm doing here is over a fifth grade level. I promise you. You got unfamiliar terms. Once you learn the terminology, you got it made in the shade. All right, here we go. We're going to go review now how the markets react to these points. The corn came down, sort of made a low here on the moon after the moon, but then it didn't go anywhere, so we couldn't make any money. So I had to mark that as a miss. Then we went up into our 30th after the closed window into the Monday the 3rd, and again it went nowhere. Well, it went slightly higher, and so we got -2 on that, and so those were misses. Here's the beans. We had the same kind of moon action for the beans, went sideways, so we had to mark that a miss. But the beans were much friendlier in that they made a nice flow over the 30th weekend into Monday the 3rd. And then we had a little pop up there, and you had a chance to make, I think, about 40 cents on soybeans, equals about $2,000 per contract in real money. The wheat was the best of the grains. You made your low there right after the moon. We had 2 points for the moon there, and then we had 2 points over here over the 30th weekend into the opening of the third, and then we, as you see there, we had a nice top. By the way, all these charts were done Thursday night on the 6th. Okay, and we're doing this recording on the afternoon at 5 o'clock Eastern time on the 7th. What did I say? Last night, the 6th. Yeah. Here we go. Sugar came down to the moon, but then it went sideways, so you had pretty much no chance to make any money. And gold, all for some reason, the moon did not respond. These markets did not respond as well to the moon as the usual. And so there we have the gold kind of went sideways to lower, and then it finally went up 2 days later. Silver did pretty much the same thing, so those are misses. But the S&P did very well. We had right before a low here, we had it'll pop up there on the right after the moon. The next day we popped up. You had a chance to make some money there, and so we had 2 points there. And then over here on the 30th, that Friday, we had a chance to make some money during the intraday on the night. Oh, that was the 30th after the 29th point. And then again, we made a low on the morning of the 30th. That was a very good low into the middle of this past week. Here, the bonds were perfect. It made a top there. It made a low there. Well, actually, not perfect in that it did go a little bit lower there the next day. And you had a pullback low there, and then a nice high there. So 4 out of 4 on the bonds. Dollar, we did pretty good there. We had the moon, didn't stop the dollar. top 2 days later, but we did have the day before the high, and that counts. We don't do 2 days, we only do 1 day difference, and so there you go. And so we went down into the that low there, had a little pop up there, then we made the low there, and then we had a nice rally on the dollar. And probably the most interesting currency of all in the last week or two was the British pound. The new prime minister said they're going to pass some tax bill and go in the cut taxes and go in the debt to do that. And the financial folks did not like that apparently, and they sold they they went into a selling panic on the dollar, and the Bank of England had to step in to intervene and stop the selling. And that was right there after the moon on the 26th. And then you can see then it went up, up, up. There we go. So if you add up the green arrows and the red arrows, we had 20 winners, 9 misses, out of 29 for 68.97%. And by the way, if you're not doing 70% winning trades, give me a call. Maybe I can help. If you are, I'd love to hear about it. All right, here's something I rarely show, but I showed it the last time I was on your show here, Jeff. I showed the planetary index model for those who might be in the know. It's inspired. There was a guy who wrote a book back in the 40s by the name of Donald Bradley. You can Google the Bradley stock market index. I'm not doing this is inspired. I totally revamped his model there, but he inspired my doing this way back 40, 50 years ago. And I think started doing about 45 years ago. And I draw this blue line a couple of weeks in advance of the month. This is the whole month here. It began September on August 29th and ran through the 30th. And I had this blue line on here in advance. And when I was last on your show, we were on the weekend of the 23rd. That's right there. And I did not, and we had the blue line there with no results. And here's the results there. And this is what the results were for the month. And these red arrows here are highlighting the top change in trend windows of the month. There you had a high there with the new moon, and Mercury was doing something there. Here we had Mercury going retrograde right there with a full moon, and that was a huge top there. And then we had a new moon there, and then you had some whoopee action there, a little bit of a top, short-term top there. And then at the end of the month, we had our double Mercury cycle there, which I showed you just a minute ago. And that was in the September, and that was a low, as you saw on the chart, previous chart. So let's look ahead now. Why did I ask to come on the show now? Well, coming up here this week is huge. Let me just cover what happened today. We had a point here, Jupiter to the U.S. chart, and I don't have the charts there. When I come back on, I'll show you the results of that. That we allow 1 day miss. I think that might got pulled into the weekend here, where we have a huge weekend. 5 points for this weekend, 2 points Uranus to the U.S. chart. Then we have Pluto turning direct. That's the opposite of retrograde. You might have heard of retrograde. And anytime the planets change trend, the markets usually change trend. We have a Mercury cycle point here, and we have a full moon all in over this weekend. I was expecting, as I said, I think on the show previously, a big extreme here, and we're getting it. We had, I think, down 100 handles on the S&P, and we had a big day today. And this might usually the classic pattern, not necessarily, but the classic pattern is it tends to spill over into the next morning, Monday morning, and about a high percentage of the time, it usually will, if you're going to get a good pattern, it'll usually turn in the first, after the first 30 to 60 minutes. 10 o'clock, 10:30 are classic turning points Eastern time for the market if it's going to be a good pattern. So here we go. Get a hold of me, and I'll be happy to explain more. Here's my bio. I've been doing this a long time. I started right out of college as a floor trader on CBOE and the Board of Trade in 1975, trading my own account. And here's my contact information. I'm in still beautiful Naples, Florida, not blown away. And 239-594-3939. And Winski at EMBARQMAIL.com. Or you can call me on Skype at NWinski_1. Looking forward to helping some of your folks, Jeff. Everybody have a great weekend.
Norm, thanks as always. Looks like we're going to have exciting action Monday if this works. And you have a lot of separate things all pointing to after the close today. So could be exciting times, and we'll see you back in a couple of weeks.
Okay, thank you, Jeff.
Okay, bye.